Hello my lovelies, welcome back to my channel. This is your girl Angel from Simply Angel Tia. In this video I'm going to show you guys how to crochet this crop cardigan here. So as you can see, it's gonna work fast because we're using very simple stitches. This is just a half double crochet stitch here, and then we do our front post, back post here. So it's not gonna be very complicated. So I hope you guys can stay on the video so we can make this together. This is something that I'm making because, as you can tell, it's already coming into winter for most of us, so we're starting to get ready and stocking up on all the warm cardigans that we can and sweaters and stuff like that. So this is why I'm making these now, so you guys can have something to inspire you as well. Okay, all right, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay my lovelies, before we continue, I'm going to show you all the materials that I used for this project. And as you can see here, I have my yarn. This is value economic by Craft Smart, and this is a medium weight number 4. Recommended hook size is 5.5 millimeter crochet hook or I9 US. This color is called Reef, and these are all the measurements that you need here, and it's 100% acrylic. Okay, I'm going to be using a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook or a I9 US. I have my scissors, my darning needle, and my stitch markers. Okay, now for this I do have 2 skeins of this. If it's not enough, because I will have to first of all work on the project to see if I'm gonna have enough. If I don't have enough, I plan to use this cream color to do the borders for my cardigan. So we will see. If I have enough, I'll just continue to do the whole cardigan in this color. But if I don't have enough, I'll do the borders in this color so it pops up the color a little bit. Okay, all right, so let's go ahead and get started. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get started here. So this is a very simple cardigan to do. So I'm going to start by doing a chain of 60, and I'm just going to do a slip knot like so. Okay, and then I'm going to do my chain of 60. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I have completed my chain of 60 here. So for this chain, it's pretty much the equivalent of the widest part of your upper torso. So for my shoulders, this is what we're going to be measuring. If I measure the back of my shoulders from one side to the other, this is the equivalent that I get. And you can have it a little bit looser or wider. It actually does come up to 10 stitches less than this, but because I want my sweater to be a little bit loose, I made it 10 stitches more. So that is a preference there. Okay, so just measure your shoulders and then measure from one side to the other, and whatever this comes up to when you stretch it, that is the length of the chain that you do. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and get started with the first row, which is also the repeat row, and we're going to add one more chain for our turning chain, and then we're going to go right into, we skip that first chain. In the second chain, we're going to go ahead and do a half double crochet in the back of the foundation chain. Then we're going to move on to the next stitch and just go ahead and do a half double crochet, and we're going to do these half double crochet stitches all the way until you get to the end of this row. And when you get to the end of the row, please come back and I will show you what to do next. See you guys in a bit. Okay my lovelies, so I have completed the first row here. As you can see, it looks something like that, and you should have 60 stitches all together at this point. Okay, now to start our second row, which is also our repeat row, we're going to do a chain of 2, turn our work, and then we go ahead and do a stitch right after the chain 2, which is just another half double crochet like that. Then we're going to move on to the next stitch and do a half double crochet, and then a half double crochet in the next, and we're going to continue this until we get to the end of this row. And before we hit the very last stitch, we're going to go and do the half double crochet going through both loops of that final stitch, and then we're going to chain 2, turn and repeat, and we're going to do this until we have the length that we're aiming for our cardigan. Okay, so you're gonna do however many amount of stitches you need, amount of rows you need. You can measure from the top of the bottom of the base of your neck from the back, and measure however long you want your cardigan to be. Or you could just continue to work on the project until and you can keep measuring and looking at it in the mirror to see how long you want your cardigan to be. And when you have reached the length, then you can stop, come back to the video, and I will explain how we move on to the next part. But for now, just continue to work these half double crochet stitches, and your work should look something like this. And then you should come back when you have the length. Okay, I'll see you guys in a bit. My lovelies, so I have completed 54 rows here, and as you can see, this is pretty much the length of my back panel for this cardigan, and it should look something like that. So obviously, if you wanted yours to be longer, it will be a lot further longer down this way, or if you wanted it to be shorter, then it will be a lot shorter than this. Okay, but for now, this is pretty much how mine looks like. Now for the next part of this cardigan, we're going to make sure we leave about 15 stitches in the middle here, about something to do 10, let's say 10. So you're going to count your stitches. Let's say you're going to count 25 on this side, 25 on this side, and it will leave you with 10 in the middle. Okay, so let's say we count that and we have like 10 in the middle here. Then you're just going to go ahead and put your stitch markers like that, so that you have your 10 here and you have 25 and you have 25. And when you have completed to do that, you're going to create a separate panel for one side and then a separate panel for one side. So with us having 25 stitches on one side and 25 stitches on one side, it means you start by doing a chain of 25, and then you're going to add 1 to make it 26. So that's gonna, and then you're gonna do your half double crochets, and your half double crochets will end up being 25 stitches, and then you're going to continue to do that for the 54 rows that we have on this side, and then you're going to do another panel just equally the same as this side for this side. Then when we have two separate panels for the front panel here, we're going to come back and join it. So I'm going to go ahead and work offline for with my two panels, and when I have both panels completed, I'm going to come back to show you what that looks like. We're going to join the two panels to the top, and then we're going to work on doing our arms, our sleeves for the arms. Okay, all right, so I'll see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have completed my two front panels here. So as you can see, this is the panel for this side, and of course I have the other one for the other side. I have my stitch markers marking the section that is left open here. So this is about 10 stitches worth of a gap. And then I also went ahead and sectioned out where I would like to leave my armholes. So this here is going to be where my armhole is for this side and as well as on this side. And the way that I get this sizing for the armhole is I pretty much take a tape measure and I measure the widest part of my arm. And with that, I increase by doing 10 extra stitches. So my my arms are a little bit small, so I would actually be able to fit my arm through this section here. But because I want my the sleeves of my sweater to be a little bit loose, I add that much gapping to it. Okay, so you can do it however. If you want it tight, then you're going to measure the circumference of your arm with your tape measure, and then you're going to make sure it matches the length that you leave for the armhole here. And it's like, keep in mind again, it's the circumference of it. Okay, so if you put that tape around here, is it going to be the exact same size that you want for your arm? And if it's not, then you need to remeasure. But usually I end up doing my armholes to be a little bit looser because it's not nice to have it too tight. It may get too kind of constricting. Okay, all right, so with everything marked off, I'm going to take my darning needle and I'm going to join this top here. Okay, and I'm going to join this top here. Then I'm going to join this side, so the bottom here, the bottom here. And when I have done joining all these 4 sections, it's going to look like just a vest. Okay, but then I'm going to come back to show you how to start the sleeves. So we're going to work on the sleeves when I come back, but for now, I'm not going to show you guys how to do the joining because I have a lot of tutorials where I join things. It's pretty much the same technique that I use, so please use that technique to join the sides here and the top here, and then come back when you have it looking just like a vest. Okay, see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have joined the sides that we talked about here. So as you can see, the top here is joined, the other side as well, and the bottom here and on this side are joined. So now we just have to work on our sleeves. And to work on our sleeves, I'm just going to connect the yarn somewhere here in the bottom where the armpit would go. And then we're just going to work a round of half double crochet, and then we're going to turn our work and then do a half double crochet round the other way, and we're going to do that pretty much until we have the sleeve completed. Okay, so I'm going to do a slip knot just like this. Let's bring these in a little bit like that. And now that I have that, I'm going to put my hook right in the bottom here, and then I'm going to bring my my yarn through, and I'm going to do my regular chain 2, and then I'm going to weave these guys in as I go, and then I'm going to go right into this stitch right here and do a half double crochet just like that. Then I'm going to go into the next gap right here and do a half double crochet, go into the next gap here and do a half double crochet, and I'm going to do these all around until I get back here. Okay, so go ahead and do your half double crochets around the sleeve hole. When you've come back to where we just started, come back to the video and I will show you how to complete this row and then how to start the next row, and then you're going to pretty much repeat that until you have the length of your sleeve. So I'll see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have come back to the beginning here. So as you can see, I have pretty much started here and I went all the way around. I'm at this part where we started it off here, and so I'm going to join these two sides. So I'm just going to go on top of the chain 2 that we did and do a slip stitch there like that. So these two sides are joined like that. Then I'm going to do a chain of 2 and turn my work this way, and then in the next stitch I'm going to go ahead and do a half double crochet just like we've been doing, and then go into the next stitch and do a half double crochet, and then go into the next stitch, and then we're just going to pretty much continue this until we create the length of our sleeve. Okay, so we're just going around the armhole here. When we get back to this beginning, we connect the two sides by doing a slip stitch on top of the chain 2, and then turn, chain 2 again, turn, and then repeat. And when you have created the length of the sleeve on this side, you're going to disconnect your yarn and you're going to go ahead and do the same on the other side. Now, because I'm not sure if I will have enough yarn, like I said at the beginning, I may do the borders of it in the light creamy color. So I'm going to just disconnect on this side, go to the other side. If at the end of doing both sleeves I still have enough yarn to complete the actual border of the sleeve, then I will reconnect and then continue to do that on both sides. If not, then I will do the border for the bottom of the sleeve as well as the part in the middle here in a different color. So it will all be based on how much yarn I have by the time I've created both sleeves. Okay, but for you, if the color is not a problem, then you will just continue to build your sleeve, and I will show you when we come back how to do the bordering of this part of your sleeve. But for now, just build both sleeves until they have reached the length that you're looking for. Okay, I will see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and completed my sleeves. So as you can see here, I went ahead and put both sleeves on, and by on I mean I crocheted the sleeves all the way from where we started and I went all the way to here. The same thing with the other side. And just like I thought, I ran out of the yarn in this teal color. So I'm going to be using a different color to do the bordering in the middle here, as well as the sleeves. So with that said, I actually am going to be using this yarn here. I earlier showed you guys a color that was more cream, and I just had a ball of it like this, which is not gonna be enough because I have to kind of do the sleeves a little bit more longer than I expected. And so I decided to go with this color here. It's just another acrylic medium weight number 4 yarn. I did do a bucket hat with this color, with this yarn. So I think if you have seen my other videos, you will see that I use this color for that. So all the details of this color I do have in that video of this yarn. And so what I did, as well as I was still offline, I went ahead and completed adding the sleeve. So as you can see here, the sleeve is a lot longer than I had anticipated, or the bordering on the sleeve. And that's because the sleeve was too short for me. So I just increased this to make it a little bit longer, and I think it looks quite nice like this. So I already went ahead and completed this side just to see how much I was going to do. So I ended up doing 13 rows here to complete the length that I wanted for the sleeve. So as you can see here, the sleeve is pretty much like this. It goes from the sweater and then it goes out like that. So I'm gonna show you guys how to start the sleeve on this side. Then I will have you guys complete the number of rows you require. Like I said, I need 13. So I'm gonna do 13 rows on this side as well. And then when we finish that, we're going to do the bordering in the middle here as well as the bottom. So the bottom here, we're gonna do the same color in the bordering, and then of course the middle, like I said. So with that said, I'm gonna go ahead and get this sleeve here started. So let's come back and continue in a second. Okay, my lovelies, so to go ahead and start doing the bordering on this side, which is also in this different color, so we're changing color as well as starting the border. So as you can see here, I did my half double crochet. That was the last stitch there. So what we would have done at this point is we go on top of that chain 2 that we started at the beginning to do a slip stitch. But instead of doing a slip stitch, I just bring it in like this. Then I bring in my color. I don't have to do a slip stitch on the new color at all. I just go ahead and yarn over to the new color, and I just join it like this. And then I pull both yarns to make it tight here. And then I chain 1, which is what I need to do my half double crochets. And because both of these colors are here, I'm going to work them into the sleeve as I work, okay? So I have that. So now we're just going to do a decrease so we can snatch in the sleeve a little bit. As you can see, the sleeve is quite wide. So we're just going to work decreasing on every stitch so that we can bring it in, okay? So this row is just going to be a row of decrease. So I'm going to yarn over, go into the next stitch, bring it in like that. I have 3 loops on the hook. Then I'm going to yarn over again, go into the next stitch, okay, bring it in. I end up with 5 loops on the hook like that. Then I yarn over and go through all 5 loops. So that's my half double crochet decrease, okay? Then I'm going to yarn over again, go into the next stitch, bring it back. I end up with 3 loops on the hook, yarn over again, go into the next stitch, bring it back. I have 5 loops on the hook, yarn over, go through all 5 loops, okay? So this is pretty much decreasing. We're literally taking however many stitches we have here, we're going to cut it in half because we're decreasing by doubling up every single stitch, okay? So you're going to continue to do this all around this sleeve hole, and when you reach to the end, come back to the video, and then I'm going to show you how to start the next row, and then we eventually going to start our front post and back post, which is what creates this pattern here. So this is back post, front post variation, or like alternation. So, but for this, we just continue to do this. I'm weaving in my 2 hanging strings at the same time. So do this all the way around here. When you come back to this section, come back to the video and I will show you how to start the next row. Okay, see you guys in a bit. Okay, my loves, so I have gone ahead and done my half double crochet decreases for the sleeve. So as you can see here, the sleeve is snatched in a little bit like that. Okay, so it just brings it in so that it's not too wide of a sleeve. Unless you want your sleeve to be wide, to stay wide, then of course you will continue to just do this, what we just did here, in just a regular half double crochet. But since we're decreasing to be able to bring it in, that's why we're doing the decrease on every stitch. So I'm at the end here, as you can see. So what I will do is I'll go on top of that chain 1 that I did at the beginning, and I'm going to slip stitch. and this seals the two sides like this. So now I just have one big hole. So now I'm going to do a chain of 2, and I'm going to turn my work. So this is a little bit tricky because we're working with a really small space here. So I will turn my work so I can work back this way. And to do that, I just go into every stitch and do a double crochet. So I just literally go in, do a double crochet, and the chain 2 that we did counts as a stitch. So, and then I go into the next stitch and do a double crochet, and into the next stitch I go and do a double crochet. And again, when I'm talking about stitches, I'm talking about these big gaps here, because we decreased in every stitch. You will find that these stitches are quite wide, but that's okay. You just go ahead into those and do your double crochet. And again, you're going to do this until you come back to where we just started off here. So just complete doing your double crochet in every stitch here until you get to the end here. When you get here, come back and I will show you how to connect the two sides and how to start our front post, back post double crochets. Okay, see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so again we have come back all the way around with our double crochet stitches, and as you can see, we're pretty much at the end here. So we don't have another stitch here. We just, this hole here belongs to the chain 2 that we did, so we don't have another stitch to do here. So all I need to do here is just go ahead and connect on top of the second chain of the chain 2 that we did. And I'm just going to go ahead and do a slip stitch there to connect the two sides like that. So again, as you can see, this the hole is just getting a little bit snatched in like that. And then, so when we have finished this second row of in this different color, we're going to do a chain of 2 and then turn our work. And this is where we start our pretty much the rest of the row for this remaining of the sleeve here is going to be in the back post, front post double crochet. Okay, and I'm going to show you how to do two more rows of this. So I'm going to show you how to do the next row here and then the next row after that, and then you will need to repeat that until you have the length that you're looking for in the sleeve. So I've chained my 2 and I turned, and then now I'm going to go right into, this is a previous double crochet. I'm going to go right into that double crochet and do a front post. So again, front post, double crochet, you just yarn over, go around the double crochet that we created from the previous row, and then bring your loop back through that way. You have 3 loops on the hook like that. Yarn over, go through the first 2 loops, yarn over, go through the remaining 2 loops. So that's a front post double crochet. And now we're going to do a back post double crochet, which just means we go and do exactly what we did here, but from the back side. Okay, so again, yarn over, go into the back. So as you can see how the movement of my hook is. Okay, so I repeat that again, because this could be tricky for some of you who are beginners. Okay, so yarn over, go from the back and grab my loop, looping from the back to the front like that, or coming into the front and then going to the back, and then yarning over, going through the first 2 loops, and then yarning over, going through the final 2 loop, and then a front post. So we're alternating front post and back post. So again, we do a front post double crochet just like that, and then the next one is a back post double crochet. Okay, just like that, and then a front post double crochet. And again, we alternate these all around until we come back to the beginning here. So as you can see, it's beginning to have these lines like this, these ridges, these are places that kind of protrude, and then these places that are a little bit pressed down. Okay, so alternate your front post double crochet and back post double crochet in every stitch until you go back to where we just started. And when you reach there, come back and I will show you how to connect the 2 sides and then how to start the next row, and then we will complete that row together before I have you guys complete however many rows you need for your sleeve. So I will meet you guys at the end. Okay, my lovelies, so I have completed this 3rd row, which is the first row of the front post back post double crochet. And as you can see, I've just reached the end here. The last stitch that I did was a back post double crochet. And as you see, this is the chain 2 that we did here. So there's nowhere else for me to do the next stitch because this is connected to this here. So I just go ahead and slip stitch on top of the chain 2 that was from the previous stitch like this. So this continues to seal this section like this, and it brings it in. And as you can see, that is the sleeve hole here. Okay. So I'm gonna show you how to do this row here, and again, how to start. You just do a chain of 2 and then turn. And now you're going to be working from the inside like this. So again, after I have my chain 2, you just have to see what do you have from the previous row. Okay, so in this case here, we have what was a back post is now becoming a front post. So this stitch here, I'm going to do a front post double crochet in. Okay, so wherever you have a back post from the previous row, you do a front post. If you have a back post like this right now, it shows like it's a back post, but it was actually a front post in the previous row, then you just do a back post there. That helps us line up these ridges so they're not like, they're not working into weird stitches. Okay, so I'm just gonna show you guys what that means really quick. The reason you have these ridges like this is because you're pretty much working front post in the back previous post, in the back post of the previous post of the previous row. And if you have a front post, you're working a back post. If you have a back post from the previous row, you're working a front post. So I really hope this makes sense, but this is why we get these ridges of your sleeve like that. So again, so just so to show you a few more stitches here. So I did a front post here. In the next one, I have a back post. So I'm just gonna go into the back post and do my back post double crochet, and then I have this protruding here, so I'm just gonna follow that theme and grab the front post, and in the next one I go and do my back post, and then you just continue to do that until you come back to this beginning here. When you get here, you do your slip stitching on top of this chain 2 that we did, chain 2, turn, and just repeat that. Okay, so as you can see here, I'm working on my row number 4, and I'm doing 11 altogether. So when I get to, and this is including the first row where we decreased. So when I have my 11 rows total, then I'm gonna come back to the video, and we're going to go ahead and start the front section, how to do the border the same way, but for the front section. Okay, so go ahead and work your stitches here and then come back when you've completed that. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and completed my 11 rows here for the sleeve. So as you can see, this is pretty much what the sleeve here looks like. We are yet to connect these 2 sections here, which is just slip stitching on top of the chain 2 that we did from the previous row. But this is pretty much 13 stitches, and again it ends with me working on the inside coming back this way because it's an odd number. If I was to do an even number, then it would end like that. But this is pretty much something that looks now like this. As you can see, that is pretty much the exact same amount of rows here. So the best thing usually to make sure that you're actually doing the exact same number of rows is to line it up like this, and then because these kind of rows can be a little bit hard to count. So I had to be very very careful to count these rows as I went, because it's hard to count it as if you're not counting, you cannot go back and recount because it's a little bit harder. You can, but it's a little bit harder. Okay, all right, so I'm going to just disconnect the yarn here, and then we're going to go ahead and start the middle part. Okay, so I'm just gonna bring my yarn and I'm gonna cut it somewhere here. Okay, and then I'm going to go back with my hook just for the string here, and I'm going to go ahead and go into the top of the chain 1 from the chain 2 from the previous row, and I'm going to slip stitch there, and then I'm going to do a chain 1 to close it off here, and then we're just gonna pull like that. Okay, so as you can see, this is our sleeve, and this is very it's very stretchy, so your arm can fit here very easily. It's going to be a little bit more snatched onto the arm here, but as you guys can see, my wrist is very small compared to maybe some wrist, so this is no problem for me in terms of being able to fit it through my arm. Okay, all right, so this part is done. The second sleeve is done. So if you are at this point need to do the second sleeve as well, please go ahead and repeat exactly what we did for this sleeve on the second side, and when you have finished both, then come back to the video. So this is the best place to pause and then come back later. And then when you have completed that, I am going to show you how to start doing the border for the middle part as well. So I'm just trying to put my, sorry, because I'm recording this a little bit later in the night, I don't have natural light anymore, so you may notice the colors changing from when I'm recording with natural light versus when I'm recording with artificial lights. As you can see, it kind of gives me a really weird shade as well, but anyways, that's not a problem as long as you can see what we're doing here. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to connect our yarn in this corner here, and then we're going to work all across here. We're going to go around the top of the neck, and then we come back all the way down here, and then from this corner we kind of pretty much keep working back like this. Okay, so we're doing exactly what we did with the sleeves, except for this first part we're not going to be doing any reductions or any decreases. We are just going to connect our yarn here and go straight to doing double crochet stitches, and then that will just take us from double crochet to then doing front post, back post right away. So I'll just kind of get ready quickly, and then I'll come back and show you guys what we're doing. Okay, my lovelies, so I just quickly fixed the contrast of my camera here a little bit, because this is actually the exact color, but sometimes when the light changes, it kind of creates a little bit of a different looking color. But anyways, just kind of explaining nothing that really matters too much. But I'm going to go ahead and connect my yarn here, and then we're going to work across like this and then come back down on the other side. So this is going to be my left side of the cardigan. So I'm just going to hold it like this, and on the color that we're changing to, which is this white color or white grayish, I'm just going to do a slip stitch like that, and then I'm going to go to this very corner here. So there's a stitch in this corner here. Okay, we're just going to go into that, and then I'm going to go and bring my my loop through like this, and then I'm going to chain 2. Okay, so this section here, like I said, we're just going to work double crochets going all the way across. So I'm going to yarn over, go into the next stitch right here and do a double crochet like that. Okay, and then I'm going to go to the next stitch and do a double crochet. And by the way, there's no definite stitches here. I'm just following the flow of the stitches from when we're doing our half double crochets this way. So because of how we did our half double crochets this way, I consider this here stitch, the other side a stitch, this side a stitch, this side a stitch, and then that's how I work my double crochets going this way. It helps me to have even spacing and things like that. So you pretty much just go into a space that is created from the half double crochet from when we're working this way, and you put your double crochet there. Okay, so this is pretty much what I'm doing here, and I'm going to do this, as you can see, it looks something like this, and I'm going to work these double crochets all along here, and it's gonna go all the way. This is the neck, the back of the neck lining here. We're going to continue to do this. So there's one in the corner here, and they will be done in the corner here, and then we just follow these stitches up here. Okay, and then we do the same thing we did on this side, on this other side here, until we come back to this end here. Okay, so go ahead and do that. When you have reached this corner here with your double crochets, come back and I will show you how to start the next row. And the next row is pretty much going to be a repeat row, but I will show you I will show you guys how to do the next row, the row after that, and then I will have you guys complete however many rows that you need to do for this corner here. For me, I'll probably do anywhere from 5 to 10 rows, just because I don't know exactly how many I need to be able to make the cardigan looks nice and comfortable. Okay, but for now, just do your your double crochet stitches like this. Okay, and then when you're done, come back to the video. Okay, my lovelies, so I have completed doing the double crochet stitches all around to here. As you can see, I finished it off right here. So I'm going to now show you how to do the first row of the front post, back post, double crochet, and then I will have you guys continue to build that up until you have the sizing that you're looking for. So like I said, I'm going to aim for 5 to 10, depending on how it looks after 5. I may keep increasing, and it could be up to 10. Okay, so like I said, this is the double crochets that we did in this just final row, and then I'm going to start my back post, front post by doing a chain of 2 and turning. And then in this very first stitch here, so the double crochet from the previous row, I'm going to do my front post just like that. Okay, and then in the next stitch right here, I'm going to do my back post double crochet, And then in this next one, I'm going to do a front post double crochet, and in the next one I'm going to do a back post double crochet, like that. Okay, and I'm going to continue to do this all the way until I come back to this end here. And when I get to this end, the very first or the very last stitch that I will do is just a regular double crochet on top of the chain 2 that we did from the previous row. And that is so that it just kind of keeps it nice and even on the edge, because we do start the row with a double crochet here, which makes it like a little bit straighter like this, and we want to do the same here. So we cannot do a back post or front post for the final stitch here. We're just going to do a double crochet on top of that. So again, just work this until you get to the end, and when you get to the end, you're going to do your double crochet in the very final stitch, and then chain 2, turn your work, and then start your back post, front post double crochets. And it's going to depend on what you have at the end here. So if you have the last stitch you do is a front post, then it means when you flip your work to work back the other way, the first stitch that you're going to be doing is a front post. Okay, so you're always going to do the opposite of what you did in the previous row. So I will have you guys work this until you have however many number of rows that you require for this. And then when you have that completed, I'm going to come back to show you how it looks like. And then I'm going to start the bottom, because we still have this bottom lining here to do as well. And when we have completed both of them, then the project is pretty much going to be at its finishing time, okay? But for now, just continue to repeat this until you have however many rows that you require for your work, okay? I will see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so as you can see here, I have gone ahead and done the bordering around the neckline on the sides of the cardigan here. So I ended up doing 5 rounds, or 5 rows. So that's all I need for now. I don't need to do any more. I tried it on, it looks fine. So I'm gonna pretty much finish these off here, and then we're going to do the bordering in the bottom. So okay, we have the bottom to still go. So I just wanted to show you guys quickly here. So I did my back post double crochet here, and then to pretty much finish off every row, you just go ahead and do a double crochet on top of the chain 2 from the previous row. How you started the previous row, you just do a double crochet there like this, okay? All right, so I'm not going to disconnect this yarn because I'm just going to go ahead and work with this in the bottom. So I'm just going to pivot my work like this, and in this very corner here I am going to do a chain 2, and then in that very first corner here I'm going to do a double crochet. So again, keep in mind this chain 2 counts as a double crochet, and then I'm going to move on to the next stitch right here and do a double crochet, and then I'm going to move to the next stitch and do a double crochet. And you're just going to continue to do this pretty much along the sides of your the bordering on the side here, and you're just going to space it out so it's not too spacey but it's not too tight together either. So as you can see here, I'm just doing it like that, and then we're going to do the next stitch right here. Good size, good spacing there, and then the next one here, and then the next one is going to be now working into the blue side here. So the next one is going to be right there, okay, just like that. And then I'm going to work the next one. Now at this point here you have stitches that you can work with, so you don't have to go into this random spacing anymore. You can actually work into these stitches. As you can see, we have the actual stitches here, and we're just gonna work our work across all the way the bottom of your work. So as you can see here, I'm working in the bottom right here, and we're gonna work the bottom all the way until we come back here. And then when we get to this end, we're going to chain 2, turn our work, and then start this pattern here, which is back post, front post, double crochet, just exactly like we did this section here. And we're gonna do 5 more rows here, just like we did on this section. So yeah, we're gonna work this, and then when you have your 5 rows completed, you're going to come back and we're going to look at our work, and at that time we're pretty much done. We need to weave in our ends, so please go ahead and do that after you're done. Yeah, and then we're gonna come back and just kind of look at how our work looks like. And then yeah, that's gonna be the end of the project. But for now, you just need to work these double crochets, and then in the next 4 remaining rows you work your back post, front post, double crochets. Yeah, so I'll see you guys when you have completed the 5 rows in the bottom here. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and completed doing the border in the bottom of my cardigan here. So as you can see, I did the 5 rows that I required to match this side that goes up here, and it's pretty much done. I cut off the excess yarn and I weaved it in, so that's done. I have also gone ahead and weaved in all the strings that were hanging from finishing off the sleeves, and any other strings that were hanging all throughout the cardigan, I've cut them off. And this is pretty much done. So this is the end of the video here. So I really hope you guys enjoyed watching this, and hopefully you will be making a cardigan or two for yourself or for your friends or loved ones. But yeah, I know it's the season to start making these bad boys so we can keep ourselves warm in the winter. So hopefully this is going to be something that you either make now, you can make or have it on your to-do list and make it at a later time. Thank you so much again, guys, for watching the video to the end. And if you have not yet subscribed to the video, or to the channel I should say, please go ahead and do so, and like the video, give it a thumbs up. And if you have any questions, just give me ask me the questions in the comment section below. Okay, see you guys in the next one. Bye.